Fantastic. All right, wonderful. Welcome, everybody. We are officially recording. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have an amazing participation right now. So many attendees. It's such an honor to present this investment webinar offering to you all. This is for Sunset Heights Apartments in Fort Worth, Texas. And we are going to just jump right in and get started, and hopefully we will get you out of here soon so you can go on and enjoy your evening. So this is our first slide here where you can see the sign and the background of the address. If you want to go to the next slide, Dawn. Okay, so this is a disclaimer. I don't know why it is. So there you go. Okay, so many of you probably have been on these types of webinars or watched recordings. This is just a very standard disclaimer. Basically, I'm not going to read it word for word. We will send out the slide deck, and this is being recorded, so you can read it word for word. But basically, this is just the general types of disclaimers that any types of these investments and offerings will have, just on that this is a business plan, and that we used all of the knowledge that we had to available to us to the best of our ability to come up with a very awesome conservative business plan for our investors, and we're excited to share it with you. So we can go to the next slide, Don. So this evening, we're going to cover some highlights of this deal. We're going to introduce our sponsorship team. We're going to go through a quick summary of the investment. We're going to talk about the property and the market overview, go through our business plan, our financials, and then the next steps of how to invest, because I know once we finish this, you're probably going to be as excited, if not more, as we are about this deal. And we want to make sure that you want to get in on this deal, that you're able to, because it's probably going to fill up very fast. Then we will have a Q&A at the end. And like I said, if we don't have time to get to your question, we'll email you directly. So we want to go to the next slide. Our sponsorship team, this is the dream team. It's been such an honor working with everyone on this partnership. We make a great team. So I'll introduce myself and then I'll turn it over to Natalie. But my name is Crystal Lee Thomas, and my husband's name is David, as you see there in the picture. And those are our twin boys, William and Christian. And I'm looking at all the attendees on here, and I think I know most of you on here. So if I haven't had a chance to meet you yet, then I'm sure we will be able to meet soon in the future. So my husband, David, and I, we've been investing in real estate for, goodness, let's see, before we started multifamily, we were doing single family. So it's been 10, 11, 12 years or so. And we have been just very, very honored, and it's been very humbling to be in this group in our Sumrock community and ecosystem here, because it's definitely afforded us many opportunities to invest in multifamily, some things that I never thought possible. We just sold our first deal that we were general partners on. That was LaDonna Place Apartments in Wichita Falls. So that's gone full cycle. We sold that this summer. And that we bought for $5.35 million, and we sold it for $8.45 million. So that was a really awesome deal, and we loved every bit of it. And we were excited to just have a fantastic return to our investors. And that we owned for about 3.5 years. Then we are general partners on Hacienda Heights Apartments in El Paso, Texas. And then general partners in Northridge Court Apartments in Cleburne, Texas. And we have been passive investors in 17 properties. 5 of them have gone full cycle. So total units invested is just a little over 2,500. And our boys are almost, actually, they're a little over 4.5 years old. They're going to turn 5 in December. And, you know, they really are just, they light up our life, and they're a big reason why we do all of this. And we want to really, you know, ultimately build a legacy for them and create generational wealth, and just help empower people to be able to do things with, you know, with the wealth that's created, and ultimately help really make the world a better place. So that's a little bit about me and my husband, David, and I'll turn it over to you, Natalie. Awesome, Natalie.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Crystal Lee. So first, it's exciting to be on a team with more women, having co-sponsored a lot of deals. Yeah, no offense to David and Jordan, but that's exciting to me. You know, in the vein of empowering and having more women sponsors. And as you were finishing talking about your boys, I'll start with that. We have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. She'll be 3 in December, and they're a big reason why we invest in apartments. And it's to have more time with them, more quality time, and that has been the case since 2017 for me. I essentially do apartments full time, so I'm either in parent mode or apartment mode for the last several years. Quiet during COVID for those reasons, but I've been in apartments since 2015, have co-sponsored 9 deals. Beyond that, own a small 50-unit deal individually, as well as another one in a tenant in common. I'm also very, very largely a passive investor. So I'd like to think that, and Crystal Lee and the other sponsors are as well, that we're bringing the passive investor's perspective to this investment, which is readily evident in the split. And otherwise, I'm really excited to be on this deal and part of this team. Jordan?
Thank you, Natalie, and thank you everyone that's joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Wilson. My wife, Vivian Wilson, is there in the picture as well. So I too am glad to be on the team with women. As Natalie said, this makes it easy for me. I have a lot of people I just say yes to and try to help wherever I can. But it's been a pleasure working with all these ladies. Just a lot of great experience, and really they all bring just a lot of different skill sets to the group. You know, my background is in construction, so since I got out of college, I've been working in the construction industry and the contract sales rep for almost 20 years now. It's crazy to think it's almost been that long. So I've had a lot of exposure to you know, a lot of major construction projects throughout the state of Texas and really throughout the country. So that's kind of the role that I'm taking within this group, is to try and you know, I'm going to be overseeing the CapEx budget and the implementation of our business plan for the property through the value add opportunities that we see at this property. And so, you know, for me personally, I'm a native Texan. I was born in Dallas, lived in Austin when I attended the University of Texas. But most of my life, I lived in Tarrant County, which is, you know, where Fort Worth is. And I've always kind of associated myself a little bit more with Fort Worth than Dallas. If you're from the Metroplex or know much about the Metroplex, that seems to be kind of a consistent theme with people here. You're either lean one way or the other. So I'm really excited about this property, and the location is just, it's fantastic. So it's really just close to everything that Fort Worth has to offer. So outside of my day job, Vivian and I started investing in real estate in 2016. And like most people in real estate, we started with single family, and we have 6 single family rental properties. Pretty quickly we realized that we needed more doors and we needed to go quicker, if you will. So we started looking for something else, and Vivian left her day job and became a full-time real estate professional. And that's when we found the Sumrock Group. And as chance would have it, reconnected with Crystal Lee, who Vivian used to work with a long time ago. So, you know, that kind of helped us make this decision to take the leap into multifamily. And another reason why we're really excited about this property and this team. So since we joined in 2019, we've invested in 4 properties, 868 units as passive investors. And really excited about taking the next step and being co-sponsors on this deal. So I'll pass it over to Dawn.
Hey guys, I'm Dawn Keller, and I've been invested with multifamily for about 2 years now. And some of you that know me know that I did a single family flip several years ago. And I say a because it was just one and it was super profitable, but I'm like, there's got to be a better way to do this. And my thought was just, how do I scale this? How do I turn this into something to repeat this over and over again and make my money work for me instead of me doing all of the work? And multifamily answered a lot of that for me. So I'm super excited about this. And I mean, there's so many reasons to invest in multifamily, but for me, cash flows from day one, just awesome. The appreciation in the property, just you're investing in a real asset that grows over time, but also the scalability. That's exactly what I was looking for. The economies of scale of being able to partner with people like you guys on this team and others like yourselves that are just looking for something, a way to a mechanism to kind of like, to invest in something else that's really going to help you grow all that hard-earned money that you've worked for. So that to me, multifamily answered a lot of those questions for me. So, and super excited to be working with this team. You guys are awesome. This team is such knowledgeable. The wealth of knowledge and the dedication, the commitment to this is just phenomenal. I'm blown away by you guys. So excited to have you all here.
Awesome. Thank you, Dawn, Jordan, Natalie, really appreciate all of that. And I want to just say before we move forward, Natalie, I believe that the first time that I met you was about 6 years ago. And while we have not partnered on a deal yet, or until this one, we've worked together. She's been a volunteer at most of our events, and we've really gotten a chance to get to know each other. And I am been wanting to partner with you, and I'm excited that we're finally doing it. And it's awesome. It's an honor. Natalie's a rock star. You can tell from her resume there. And then for Dawn and Jordan and Vivian, it's so exciting for this, to be your first deal as a GP. This is an awesome deal, and you're in good hands with us. And I know you guys are such hard workers, and we're really excited. And Jordan kind of touched on it too, that Vivian and I, yes, we worked together for almost 10 years in corporate America in physician staffing. And I mean, when I say work together, like we worked within like 3 feet of each other for 10 years. And so Vivian and I go way back, and it's exciting just to see everybody growing. So, all right. And any of you who have joined late, this is being recorded. We will send out the recording and the slide deck. So now we're going to share a little bit about who our business partners are on this deal. And, as you know, this is a team sport, so it certainly takes key people to help make this happen. I'll just touch on this really quickly. So we have Old Capital is our mortgage lender or mortgage lending broker. Sunridge Property Management, they are going to be the property managers for this. And I do have some experience working with them. So Sunridge is the property manager that managed Northridge Court Apartments with the previous owners. And they did such a great job that we kept them when we took over. And so they have a astonishing resume. If you look on their website and you go to their portfolio, I mean, it is far reaching across the entire country. So they have a lot of experience. They're, very business minded while also wanting to ensure that the tenants have safe, comfortable places to live. And they understand, the business side. So they do certainly help. It helps when they are wanting to make decisions with the investors in mind, as well as with the tenants. And that goes in line with our values as well. Also, Calliser and Associates, they are our real estate attorney on this deal. Texas Commercial, they're our insurance. Cantrell McAuliffe is our tax projections. Lumens is our lender. Madison Specs does the cost seg. Quest Trust is key player for all of our self-directed IRA, solo 401k folks out there. And then Perry Zhang and Ed Sittler, those guys with the cash flow portal. It's awesome. So, I mean, this makes the whole process so streamlined and easy to use. And then last but not least, of course, we have Brad Sumrock on there. So many of you know who he is and know how much he and his wife Jen have really helped educate people on how to invest in multifamily and how to do it successfully and how to do it without reinventing the wheel and making a lot of mistakes. So moving on, want to talk about why invest in this property. So this property right now is 99% occupied. So some of you probably know that when a property gets up to that high of an occupancy, then you know that your rents are too low, which goes to the next little bullet point there, that the rents are about $150 below the comps. This is in a prime location. So I love this area. I'm not going to steal any of Natalie's thunder because she's going to talk about that. To talk briefly, kind of a little bit about what Jordan was saying, I also am a native Texan. I was born in Fort Worth. I was actually born at a hospital not far from this property. And I grew up in Hearst, and then our family moved to Georgia, lived in Georgia for a while. Then I moved back to Texas in 2005. And when my husband and I started out investing in multifamily, we wanted our first deal as a GP, we wanted it to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And it just didn't work out that way. So, you know, our first one was in Wichita Falls, second one's at El Paso, third one is in Cleburne. And so now our fourth one, so I guess fourth time's a charm. But now it's in Fort Worth, and I love this area. I mean, this area is just booming. There's so much growth. The growth of job growth, population growth, it is just outperforming the nation. And that is a huge, huge plus for this property. The property itself has large floor plans, and there's a lot of meat on the bone, as you could say. Just a little side note, the sellers are also students in the Sumrock program. So, you know, it's kind of a win-win-win for everybody, and they certainly have done a great job with the property, and they've also left some really great meat on the bone for us to go in there and make some immediate enhancements and immediate rent bumps. And last but not least, our sponsor team. You know, Natalie talked a little bit about what she's accomplished, and I talked a little bit about what we've done in this group, and what Jordan and Vivian and Dawn bring to the group. So, I mean, we have such a tried and proven sponsor team. So we're excited to knock another one out of the park. So moving on to the investment summary, and this is just a brief investment summary here. So our purchase price was $10.3 million, and our CapEx budget is just a little over $630,000. And we are doing non-recourse bridge financing. We are going with Lument. So Lument is the current holder of the loan that's on there right now. So they're very easy to work with, and it's been a very streamlined process. You know, since they're the current holder, they're very familiar with the property, and you know, it's really helping kind of compress some of those traditional timelines that you would have with loan applications. Our projected capital raise is $2.8 million, and our projected hold 3 to 5 years, 84.3% overall return with an average projected cash flow of 8.76. Our projected IRR is just a little over 14.5. And then to touch on what Natalie said, I mean, this is a passive investor's dream. You know, we've invested passively in over 17 deals, and this is going to be a very, very big win for our passive investors with an 89%, 11% split. And then once we return 100% of your capital plus an 80% return, then we will shift that to a 50-50 split. And this is just how much we believe in this deal and how much we want to show you that this is just going to be another home run deal. So that's a huge incentive also for us to really just put in everything that we can into this deal. And I'm really excited about that. The rest of this is nothing too out of the norm. 2% asset management fee. no acquisition fee, no disposition fee. This is a 506B, so it's open to sophisticated and accredited investors who we have a pre-existing relationship with. And refinance fee, we are going to do 0.5% on that. All right, let's see here. Our sources and uses report. So the total amount that we're putting in is, you can see right there, 11.445485. And where that's coming from is just a little over 2.3 is coming from the capital raise. We as a sponsor team, we're putting in 460,000. The loan proceeds, it's going to be right there around that 8.24. Our financed CapEx, just a little over 430,000. And where all that is going to is 10.3 is going to the purchase price, 412 to the closing costs, a little over 630,000 to the CapEx budget. Working capital, we will have just right around 95,000. So you can see that that balances out right there.
Now, I just wanted to interject something on that slide. The finance CapEx in the sources, that's the amount that we underwrote, but we're actually approved with Lument for another 200,000 above and beyond that. It's just to say that we have flexibility. We didn't underwrite the full loan proceeds that we were approved for in our loan application. So
thank you, Natalie.
Underwrote under that.
Yes, very great note. Details about the property. This is a 91 unit property built in 1970, and it does do a rub for electric and water. It's your typical garden style brick, wood siding. The roofs are flat mansard. It does have 2 chillers and 4 boilers. You can see the age there, so they are recent. It has a swimming pool, 2 laundry facilities, a nice leasing office, and it does have a dog park, and it does have some covered parking as well. And going on to the unit mix. So this is a mix of one efficiency. We have a couple different floor plans for the 1 bed, 1 bath. And then the 2 bed, 1 bath. And there are 6 2-bedroom, 2 bath. So as you can see there, it kind of breaks down, and these are really large floor plans, as you can see from the square footage. That one efficiency used to be the maintenance storage, and they converted it into an efficiency, which I thought was pretty clever. And moving on to some property photos. So these are just some pictures you can see here. Here's some interior. You can see with the gooseneck faucet, white cabinets, white appliances. That beautiful faux vinyl, or not faux vinyl, but vinyl plank flooring, looks like faux wood. And the light fixtures as well, countertops, really nice, really clean property. And that is the leasing office that you see right there. It's a really nice leasing office. There's some more photos on the next slide that just show you a little more detail of like the bathroom, the office itself. So the first picture is a bathroom. The second picture is one of the rooms. And then the last 2 pictures are the leasing office. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Natalie, and she is going to share with you all the great stuff about this market.
I'm going to be really quick because it's 8 o'clock, and I want to make sure that we wrap this up in time, that we don't eat into too much of everyone's evening. But Fort Worth, I mean, it was said earlier with Crystal Lee, 99% occupancy at the property. That tells you that the demand is there and that the rents need to go up. The market kind of speaks for itself in terms of the growth that it's experienced in the last 10 years. I think more importantly, instead of looking backwards, is to know that that growth is anticipated to be sustained over the period of our business plan over the next 5 years. So I'll leave it at that. Next slide. Okay, so the demographics for the area are some of the best, I've seen among deals, particularly Class B and C deals. It's what you'd normally see for an A. high average household income for the area in the 1 and 3 mile radius. And then you can see the average home values as well. What's exciting there is the affordability gap. So the difference between the cost of renting an apartment and owning a home is very large for the particular pocket where this property is located. So this is the demographic we want to be targeting, that higher household income, where they're renters by choice and really driven by the location of the property. And that's really the shift for Sunset Heights and the business plan that Jordan's going to be going over. And then you've got a little bit of the age group and college education level. But this deck is in the portal. Side note, the portal is live. We're already accepting subscriptions. I'll just use this airtime to say our soft commitments via the Google form exceed our raise. And I think the last I checked on the portal, we're about halfway through the subscriptions on people coming in. So really, really exciting, and we're happy to be live in our portal. Next slide. All right. This is to highlight the connectivity that the property has to major highways, so easily accessible to get onto I-30 and the other highways, and to connect to major job centers. Major job centers are close by. I think the biggest closest one would be the medical district there, 4 miles away. TCU is also very close as well. In terms of a 30-minute commute, which is kind of what a lot of folks drive to work, you're looking at over 1 million jobs from Sunset Heights. Next slide. So I like this slide personally because for some folks they like the Starbucks factor, or if you're Grant Cardone, you look for Whole Foods. Well, in our case, we don't quite have Whole Foods, but we've got Central Market, which is pretty much half a mile away from the property to the north. So if you're familiar with Arlington Heights, that's that big purple area north of I-30. The property just is situated just south of I-30 off of Hewlin. And for those of you who don't know about my personal situation, we are part of the influx of people into Fort Worth. So I too, just like Jordan, lean on the Fort Worth side. We moved from Houston to North Fort Worth in June of this year. And in my few months in the area, I happened to have gone to Hewlin and to this street and pretty much at the doorstep of Sunset Heights on multiple occasions. I've had pizza at Zoli's, which is right across the street from Sunset Heights, and actually personally highly recommend it if you've got young children. I've bought coffee at that Starbucks. Like I said, it's literally half a mile away. So it's really in an area where it's dynamic. There's a lot happening. It's desirable. There's walkability to shopping and everything else. Next slide. Trying to go fast here. So speaking of shopping, high-end shopping, shops at Clear Fork and University Park Village. I'll let this slide speak for itself. And is that everything? What's the next one? All right, cost segregation. So there's a lot of information on this slide, but really the only number I want you guys to look at would be the year one total bonus depreciation that's circled in red. So that's the 2.566 million. That comes out to about 92% of our raise. If you remember the earlier number on Crystal Lee's slide. So we're going to be sharing the cost seg bonus depreciation pro rata based on equity. So the net to investors is going to be about 82% based on this, and this is a projection from Madison Specs. We expect to be around 80% of the investment coming back as a accelerated depreciation loss on your year one K1s. And yes, year one would be 2021. We do fully anticipate to close before the end of 2021, and that's important. Big thing assisting us with that is the fact that the lender is the same. We are using the same lender as the seller has currently, and we're already in progress on the third parties. The appraisal's already scheduled, so we're up and running and underway on our timeline, so it shouldn't be an issue. That's it for me, and I'll let Jordan go over the much more interesting material. Go ahead.
Yes. What
Thank
are we
you.
gonna do with the property?
Yeah, I get the fun part. So it's really exciting and what I do and what we've done with single family and being involved in multifamily, kind of seeing the opportunity and seeing the potential of a property, which, you know, everything that Natalie just touched on, it all starts there. This property is kind of real estate 101 in a lot of standpoint from just location standpoint. So, you know, it really gives us the opportunity to go in and capitalize on that location and the demographics to do these value add upgrades, take advantage of the demographics there, and try to improve the property for our residents, for our investors, and really for the community. And that's the direction that everything is going there in this area. And Natalie just touched on that. So the property, if you're familiar at all with Fort Worth, is just south of I-30 off of Hewlin. And so maybe not even half a mile from Hewlin, just the natural layout of the property and where it's positioned there. Hewlin is kind of a high trafficked area. So you can really see the building from Hewlin. There's a small sign up there right now, says Sunset Heights. We see an opportunity to go in there and upgrade the exterior signage there on the east side of the building so that it's visible from Hewlin to kind of draw people into the area. Also update and make larger exterior signage there on Wellesley Avenue, which is the feeder road off of Hewlin. So coming into the property, you know, that's kind of the next piece of our plan, is the just improving and enhancing the curb appeal. So like a lot of properties in, I guess, all of Texas, there's a few trees and some shrubs and things that were lost in the crazy winter that we had last year. So we're going to be putting some money into the landscaping there along the main roads, kind of around the property, but also in the common areas as you walk through the property, and then you know, around the pool area. So another thing that we want to do is give it a little more a pop with maybe a brighter color on the exterior paint. So we plan to paint. The brick is really in good shape. The foundation is in good shape. So there's no cracking in the brick or anything like that. It's kind of an off-white color that really will go with almost any color. I'm colorblind, so I'm going to defer to the ladies on the color that we choose, but something that will just give it a little bit of pop and continue to, you know, we want to draw people into the property and take advantage of the location. So you can see here from the slide, cedar accents. We plan to wrap the existing balconies, common areas with cedar accents to complement the paint and landscaping and just give it overall, you know, a better visual appeal from the outside. So we also plan to upgrade some of the amenities. There is an existing dog park on the property, but it's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot there other than a couple of benches and a nice fence. So we'd like to add some equipment for the dogs in that area. We'd also like to add a grilling station around the pool. Unfortunately, with COVID in Tarrant County and a lot of places over the last year, the pool wasn't really utilized that much, but we anticipate, you know, coming out of the winter season into spring and summer that things are going to be opening up and continuing to open up, and we think that adding to these amenities in the common areas, it will also drive a sense of community with our residents, bring them out to to mingle with the neighbors, get to know one another, which will hopefully drive retention and staying at the property, as well as present an opportunity to to increase rents with the type of tenants that we're going to be drawing from the area. We're also planning on implementing a Wi-Fi package there. Right now, everybody's kind of using a little bit of whatever, I guess. So we'll have the opportunity to bring fiber into the property and give the residents a better internet package with higher speeds, probably at a more affordable rate, with no long-term contracts and things like that. Something that would be really appealing to a resident and that's renting, but at the same time, it will allow us to increase revenue from just the other income standpoint, aside from our rent bumps. So the rest of the money, and we do have a sizable CapEx budget, over 600,000 on this property. So the rest of it is going to be allocated, over $300,000, into the interior upgrades. So we plan to really go in and touch on all of the units. Some are updated more than others, but there isn't really a consistent look throughout the property. So we want to elevate the base standard to kind of a higher level of finish out, and then take advantage of strategic units within the property to do some premium upgrades. There are 4 properties that have the ability for a walkout to expand the patio into kind of a walkout yard, and we'll be adding not this cedar accent, but cedar fencing in those areas. We think that we can get more income for those properties with the fence. People that have dogs, maybe small children, just want to get outside of the property, expand their living space to the exterior of the property. And we're going to focus those areas on specific units. There's also a few units on the property that have a downtown view. So we think that in some of these units strategically located throughout the property, either by the pool, near the downtown views, the courtyards with the larger patios, that we can implement some of the premium upgrades above and beyond kind of that high level base that we're trying to achieve, and uniformity throughout the property to get even higher rent bumps in those units. So this slide really, I think, touches on a lot of what I just said, but really what we see, the overall opportunity here is, again, the location of the property in Fort Worth, close proximity, within 5 miles to everything in downtown Fort Worth, almost the high average annual income that we can really reposition this property. There's only maybe 3 properties that are 1970s builds in this area. There is some new inventory coming into the submarket with the expansion of Chisholm Trail Parkway, heading southwest out of downtown Fort Worth. But really, in this, this 1970s vintage property, there's just not a lot of competition. So we think that we can elevate this property, kind of take it to the next level, and still maintain a affordable position within the submarket, and still maintain high occupancy levels and be an attractive option for people in the area. So I think we've kind of touched on all of this. Oh, I guess the exit strategy. So the exit strategy for this would be that in 3 years, we will look at selling the property or possibly refinancing the property. So next slide, Don, I think gives us a breakdown of the CapEx budget. So we do have $110,000 set aside for deferred maintenance on the property. Overall, the due diligence went really well. The property is in really good shape. but it was built in the 70s. So we do anticipate that there are going to be some things that will come up, deferred maintenance. And so we've set aside a pretty sizable chunk of our CapEx budget to address those issues and as they arise. So there will be, in addition to the painting, there will be locations throughout the property where we might do some spot replacement of siding or railing and things like that. We are going to probably in a couple of areas just shore up the roof. Report came back really solid overall. Just make sure that these systems are functioning really well, and then the focus will be then to put the rest of the money into the upgrades and improving the property. So I'll pass it over to you, Dawn.
Awesome. Thanks, Jordan. I'm excited that they left the best part for me, which is financials. So yeah, a couple of things that are really, really cool about this property that I'd like to share with you guys. And this is right up my alley because if any of you know me, that I am kind of a closet nerd, so I'm all about it. So what we're looking at here, one of the first things that we do when we're doing a property analysis is to look at the comps in the area. And this is before we even make an offer on the property. We're really go out and really see what the other properties are doing. Not only do we look at the industry experts, like the reports that they put out and things like that data and do that research, but we also go out on site and physically see these properties, see what they look like, what kind of condition are they in, what are they doing for upgrades, what amenities they have, what are they charging, things like that. So we do that all in person. So you can kind of see this chart at the top. Here's our property, Sunset Heights. Here's our comps here in the area, all around the same build, 1960s, 70s, you got some 80s in there, number of units. We got talked about those big average, those unit sizes are really big and compared to some of the others. And then the average market rent, we can kind of see the Sunset Heights is a little bit lower. It's considerably lower than some of those others. And this just kind of breaks it down for you into just an easier way to see this is the rent per square foot. Our property, $1.18 a square foot versus goes all the way up to $1.69. We're by far considerably lower than any of these comps in the area. And I'll point out too that we're not trying to get to this $1.69, $1.62. We're not trying to get there. And I'll show you in a slide in just a minute that what we're achieving our pro formas are going to be more in this range, about $1.34. So that shows you we're still saying really, really low within the comps within the area. And it also leaves a lot of room for the next buyer. There's a ton of room to keep kind of improving this property and to take it to this nice level, like this 1965 property that's $1.69 a square foot. And in the bottom left here, just, you can kind of see the comparisons. The average comp is 1,080, ours is 955. The average square foot on the comps is $1.49 and Sunset Heights is $1.18.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yeah.
On this slide?
Yeah.
So we've got two Sumrock system comps, actually the two best comps, the Slate and Hewlin Park. So Slate was co-sponsored by Michael Becker and sits literally across the street. And then Hewlin Park was Alan Stewart. And Sunridge, looking at the comps and their marketing team, expressed great confidence in getting us to the mid-30s numbers, even without doing so mid $1.30, even without doing anything to the units. So we're very bullish on the rents.
Yeah, very good point. Thanks, Natalie.
And before we move on,
Yeah.
This is actually, somebody asked a question, and I know we're going to get to this toward the end, but I think this is a good time to address it. And that is, Dawn, you referred to the meat on the bone that the current owners have left. And so someone asked what percentage of units have already gone through an interior upgrade. And so I was typing the answer and then I decided that this would probably be good to say. I mean, one thing, and then Dawn, I'll let you answer it in more detail. The current owners, they've owned it for just barely 2 years. And so they didn't really have time to even scratch the surface on the bulk of their business plan. So, which is awesome because, hey, they didn't really do a whole lot of the interior upgrades, but yet they far exceeded their original business projection. which sets us up in an even more fantastic position. So as far as the actual number of units, Dawn, if you want to speak to that, go for it.
Sure. Yeah, I believe it was somewhere around 55%. And Jordan may have touched on this too, about the level of the upgrades. And that's one thing that we want to do, is to bring them all up to at least a base level, and then also have some premium levels. So because there's not a lot of consistency right now. So that's really important too. And I want to say it was around 55% that have like a partial upgrade, and a smaller percentage actually have a full upgrade. And those are the ones that are at the recent full turns, which I think are more about 20%. And then you've got the rest would be like classics, or have just had some basics done, like maybe just flooring and nothing else, or flooring and lighting and nothing else. So
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, Dawn. So, and Crystal Lee touched on this with when the current ownership took over the property. Not too long after that, COVID hit, and so I think that really limited some of their opportunity with the business plan. So really excited about where we're getting to take over this property with so much upside. I think still left there. Most of the units have been touched in with some kind of update. It just really isn't consistent. So there are probably, maybe 20% classic units that really need a pretty complete update, but there's probably 55% that Dawn touched on that have had some kind of update. Most of those are really, a lot of the flooring has been done. A lot of the units have the gooseneck faucet in the kitchen. They have the white cabinets. They have resurfaced countertops, tile surround in the bathrooms. A lot of them have the frame mirrors, updated lighting with the brushed nickel fixtures in the kitchen and the bathrooms, and the brushed nickel ceiling fans. And pretty much almost all of the units have had, the 2-inch faux wood blinds installed throughout. So, but we really want to again take it to kind of get all of the units up to a standard base level, just a higher upgrade, and then we want to focus on strategic units within the property to take them to that next level, premium upgrades with their patios, balconies, and some of the higher end finishes.
I think I just saw a question, somebody saying they want to get back to the financials. Like that's where it's at. Okay, we'll try to get this through really quickly, guys. I know we don't want to keep you too long tonight, but this is just really interesting to see this green. This is a snapshot from earlier this year. This green line is from 2021, and these are previous years. The blue one's from 2020, so that's pretty flat. We understand that. But this is crazy. This trend has not stopped, and anyone who lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area you don't have to be an analyst to see that this is happening, that people are moving here at a crazy rate, and basically just the supply cannot keep up with the demand. So this is expected just to continue. So that's just incredible what we're seeing here. More fun stuff on rent growth. So a couple things here. First, we'll kind of see where we are right now. So 2021, we're at a 14.6 rent growth for 2021. And then if you look back at the past 10 years, the average, I think I have this is actually, I have a typo here, sorry guys. It's the average over the past 10 years is actually 4.6, not 5.6. But what's interesting about this look is like 10 years ago, it was 2%. Like that's the lowest out of the past 10 years is 2%, which was 10 years ago. Look at a pandemic year, we had 2.7% growth during a pandemic, and my light just shut off. That just like is like, that's the kind of growth that we're seeing, is even during a pandemic year, we're seeing this incredible growth, and that's not expected to slow down anytime soon. So looking forward, this is again from CoStar. So looking forward at what the projections are, you can see really strong these next few years. And CoStar is predicting an average of 4.42% growth over the next 4 years. And our underwriting, we're using a 3.75. So we're staying considerably under of what the projections are, what the market experts say is going to be for the next few years. And that's just to keep our underwriting really conservative.
And if you look at the rent per square foot for 2021, that's right around our pro forma. So we're
Mhm.
looking to capture that 14% that was supposed to happen for 2021 because it's there in the loss to lease.
Next, we'll touch on cap rate really quick. So cap rate, if anyone is not familiar with using a cap rate, it's a metric that is used in multifamily. It's essentially, it's the net operating income of the property divided by the purchase price. And so it can kind of just give you an idea of what people are paying for the, what people are paying in the market, basically, what is the property is worth. So if we look at this chart at the bottom left here, we're at 2021, so 5.1% cap rate. And if you look at the next coming years, it stays pretty flat, right? 5.2, if we're looking at selling in the next 3 to 5 years, that's our plan. And then in our underwriting to stay conservative, we're using a 5.5. So we're staying more than 25 basis points above what the industry experts are saying. But that does make a big difference. So let's just kind of look for a second at this chart at the bottom right. So you can see in this blue here, a 5.5 cap rate, that would put us at an 84.3% overall return. And that's what we're projecting. So we're using that. But if we were to use 5.2, which is what the industry experts are saying, you'd fall somewhere in here. Let's say, this is a 5.25. So you'd fall a little bit on this side of it, to a little bit of the right of this, would be about 104% return. And a few of us were at a mastermind last week, and we got to talk one-on-one with a lot of these industry experts. And the consensus is that it's definitely going this direction. It's the cap rates are compressing, and they just continue to compress. So what does that mean for you? So again, look at this top chart here. We've got 5.5%. That's what we're projecting here. So let's say you have a $100,000 investment. Your total return would be 148.3, and that's including your return of the 100,000, your original capital that you put in, and plus the 84.3 of the total return. And again, you can kind of just see the fluctuation of, if the experts are right and this thing is going to 5 and 5.25, this is what we're looking at, more the 203, 205, 225. And then, on the flip side, it's also important to kind of look at the risks too. So that's always important, and we want to be transparent about that. So let's just say it goes higher, then we're looking at more like 166, 149. So we're still sitting solid, if that happens. Some of you are familiar with this slide. This is an analyzer tool that we use for anyone that's not familiar with it. So again, just going back to the transparency really quick on, that's really important to us that we show you guys, this is all the things that we talked about tonight. That's all right here. All the data that we talked about, the purchase price, our CapEx budget, our financing, it's all right here. We don't have anything blocked out of this. What we see is exactly what you guys are seeing. So just kind of want to keep that in mind for anybody that you guys invest with, whether it's us or another team. Just look for that, what kind of transparency you're getting from anyone you invest with. So, but really what I wanted to show you is what we talked about earlier is we're sitting at 1.18 per square foot in the rent, and we're going to 1.34, very achievable. And this is kind of data overload, but we're just going to look at a few things here, which is, let's see, rent growth. We talked about that. Just wanted to point out that's how we got that rent growth. We're saying CoStar was at 4.4. We're up 3.75 average. Again, it kind of tapers to 2, which we haven't seen in 10 years. Economic vacancy, these two over here, the current economic vacancy, which is physical vacancy plus any concessions, is at 7.8. And we're doing, for our first year of ownership, we're going to put it at 12%. And that just gives us a pat. We're just basically just padding it. Let's just be safe, be on the conservative side. Total income growth, we're looking at 8.4, next year's 6.7, and then kind of tapers down. And just wanted to point that out, that sometimes you'll see double digits here, and which we think is kind of aggressive. So again, just being on a conservative side. And then lastly, like we talked about, those cap rates, really important. We're using a 5.5 cap rate, even though the experts think it's going to be more like a 5.2. This is the current purchase price, or the purchase cap rate, I'm sorry, on the T3. This one's the T12, which is over the past 12 months. This is a more current one on the past 3 months. And again, we're just staying above that, just at least 25 basis points above that to be conservative.
And just to clarify, this really is the absolute latest and greatest T12. It includes the September figures, which is why it's a higher cap rate. And the occupancy of the property's gone up, and there's just one vacant unit right now.
Yes, yeah, 90%, yeah. And you can see, again, kind of going to, thanks Natalie, on that economic vacancy, again, it's currently at 7.8, and we're being conservative all the way down the line. You can see we go to 11, 9%. We never drop below, even if it's currently at 7.8, we never get that low, and we leave it at 9, just to be conservative.
Yeah, and I know you probably covered it, but we're never going double digits on the income growth. We're
Yes.
staying
Yeah.
below that.
I know, I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to go fast because I know that it's like everybody wants to get back to their life, but we'll take calls and emails all day long offline. So if anybody wants to talk in detail about some financials, yeah, you call me. And this is just kind of a picture of what does this look like for you guys? So Crystal Lee touched on at the beginning of our targets, what we are projecting for this deal, the 8.7 annual average annual cash flow. It's going to be a 1.8 to 2x equity multiple, total return 84.3%, possibly more. And what that all equates to is a 14.56 IRR. So when you break that down by year, here's what we're looking at down here. Let's say year one is right now is you're investing, let's say $100,000. And you're going to get those cash flows dividends, which we pay quarterly. So you'll get that, let's say year one, we're projecting that 6,400, year two, 8, year three, 9, 4, about 10, year 5, about 10. So this is my total cash flow, this 43. And then at the sale, we would get, you're going to get the 100, let's say that 100,000 that you invested back plus an extra $40,000. So the total that you would get on the total return would be the 184.3 total.
Next slide.
Yeah. And I will turn it back over to Crystal Lee to close us out.
Thank you so much, Dawn. And so thank you all so much for being on this with us. We've been on right at about an hour, and we will wrap it up here. I was busy typing away, answering some questions, so trying to get to everybody's questions here. Before I go into the timeline, let's see, I did want to just answer one more question, and that is, what is the rationale for a bridge loan over a conventional loan? And that's a great question. So there's several factors that went into that, and we really did we spent a lot of time researching and leaving no stone unturned and consulting with James Ng on what's the best direction to go. We decided to go with the bridge loan for a few reasons. One of them being that the lender, Lumint, is the current holder of the loan with the buyer, or with the seller, which is a bridge loan, and it is coming up due in January. So there's a huge upside for them, and incentive for them to continue on lending on this property. And also, they, like I mentioned in the beginning, compressing some of the timeline that is typical in other lending. This market is certainly interesting, and a couple years ago, a conventional loan would proceed faster than a bridge loan. Well, when this particular property, and especially since Lumint is the current holder, in order for us to close by the end of the year, which is our goal, conventional loan wouldn't get us there in time. So we analyzed, we did a lot of side-by-side comparison, and decided to go with the bridge loan. All right, so our timeline here. So as you can see right now is November 3rd. That's that third arrow. It's our webinar. Our subscription period is open, and as Natalie said, she checked our portal before this, and we're about halfway there. So really, if you want to get in on this, this is going to go fast. And the subscription period ends December 1st, and then our targeted closing date is December 7th. And that is, let's see, moving on here to the next slide. I'm just looking at my notes as well. All right, so how to invest. So that link right there is to our portal, and I did actually put this in the chat. You might have to search.
Can you put into the chat again so people don't have to look too far?
I sure will. Yep, I'm trying to trying to do several things.
Sorry,
at once here, so-
multitasking.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to copy this again, put this in the chat. So this is where you want to go to set up your profile on our
and all of your paperwork's there. Whoops, it is all, oh, it is all digital signing. So everything in there is set up for you to make it extremely easy. And this also is, where you can find any reports as we go through the ownership of this property. We will put our monthly reports in there, and also all the copies of these are the slide deck and the webinar recording will be in there also. And one thing to note, if you are investing with an LLC name or an entity name, a trust, an IRA, or a solo 401k, when you go to set up your profile, it needs to be in the name of whatever is investing. So just to know that, don't put it in your personal name if you are investing with an entity. So I wanted just to share that with you. The wire
And just a
instructions will
quick
be
note
provided
on
through
the
the
mechanics. It
portal, and
actually
you will
first
need
asks for your
to,
individual name and then allows
are
you
you
to
saying
complete the
something, Natalie?
profile as an entity.
Oh my goodness, I can't
Just-
hear.
Sorry, the mechanics of cash flow portal are such that it first identifies you individually with a first and last name, and then you can select the entity profile. So the first step is you individually, but you're not subscribing individually. You then pick the profile of the entity or IRA that you're investing with.
Thank you for that clarification.
I just haven't gone through it personally. I learned that.
Wonderful. All right, so we're going to put up our last slide here, which is again, us as a sponsor team and all of our contact information. Again, we'll be sending this out. You can screenshot this. Please feel free to call, text, email us, whatever is easiest for you. We'd love to connect with you, and also would love, it would be an honor for us to have you as investors with us on this project. Very excited about this project. We're gonna knock it out of the park. And I believe we got to everyone's questions. Any questions that we did not get to, we will message you directly. One last question, and then this is it. Will depreciation be on 2021 or 2022? It will be on 2021 because we are determined and trust and that we will close by the end of this year. So it will be 2021.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
lender is committed to that as well. And like I said, the third parties are already scheduled. So we're in great
Yes.
shape for 2021 close.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much for your time. I'm blown away by the participation that we had and all of the attendees on here. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking time out of your busy week to join us for this. And also thank you for your very thoughtful questions and for trusting us. And, if you have any questions, let us know. And we certainly would love for you all to be investors on this journey with us. And thank you to our awesome team, Jordan, Natalie, Dawn, y'all are amazing.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank you.
joining us.
you.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.